Tozani bogogo nomkhulu kwasendoda lesigogo bathini bathi umavula kuvala emzini madoda. Number one, Doc Smith. There's a question that I get asked a lot of people ask me this question, and it's something that I have discussed, but I cannot dismiss every question and keep on saying, yeah, but I did it. I did that topic. I have covered that subject. Especially when somebody says to you, Gogo, I know you have done several videos on this topic, but if you can, please do it again. It's a question that is relevant. It's a question that is important. It's a question of interest. It's a question of current affairs, of what is happening around us, around the society that we are living in. And I said, it's fine. It's okay. So what? Let me do it. Let me cover the subject. Let me redo this video. And me doing that video months ago, it's not me anymore. This is what is relevant moving forward. The question is, Gogo, why is everybody has suddenly becoming a healer? People, they ask this question in many ways. There's no one standard way I can say people are asking this question. They ask it in many ways. And I have to respond to it. Unfortunately, I don't have a choice. I must respond to this question. Gogo, do these people, do everybody that we see lately have the calling? And it's a good question to be asked, because if you can check when it was relevant before the times of the education system, before the times of institutions, before the times of townships, suburbs, people were not all sangomas the way things are happening now. Not, you wouldn't go from a village to village, then you'll find a sangoma. A sangoma will be known to say there's a sangoma at a certain place where. And you can't say sangomas used to stay far, because they are far from you, but they are not far from the neighbor where they are staying. However, these days, we mustn't also looking at the number of healers one-sidedly. We also need to consider the fact that the population that we have, especially in South Africa, we are about 50 million people. So you cannot compare a certain skill, a certain tribe, a number of a tribe, or in terms of people, a certain profession with a population of 1 million people, and then you compare that number of profession with a population of 50 million individuals. It's impossible. And in South Africa, we are not 50 million. It's a 50 million, it's an estimation population of South Africans, those who have South African IDs. However, we do have our brothers and sisters that we reside in here in South Africa. So you will to me, we have extra 20 million. To me, we have extra 20 million. Remember, I'm not a stats a specialist, so don't question me or disagree with me on this number. It's just an estimation, around 20 million. So let's say we are 70 million in South Africa, and then in 70 million, out of these 20 million people that are from other other places, now they are in South Africa. They now practice the cultures, some of the cultures in South Africa. And you cannot run away from that. But we are not there. So that number of people, that's a huge number. However, even if you can reduce it back to 50 million people, you can see, no, man. No, man. There's something wrong here. There's something that doesn't add up. So, my question to you on this family channel is, do you really have a calling? Do you really have a calling? Are you really called for this? Are you sure that you have the ancestral calling? Are you sure that your calling is to heal people? Are you sure? Are you certain? It's a question, guys. I'm not fighting with anyone. I'm not saying other people are not healers and me, Gogo Batini Mbata, I'm a healer. I'm asking this question because it's one question that I ask myself almost every day. That's what reminds me, Uti. The yes part of it that I always come up with is the one that keeps me going. Because I have to ask myself this question, especially when getting insults, when getting spiritual attacks. I'm asking myself to say, am I being insulted based on the fact that it comes with a calling? Or it's a matter of, nah, Kokobatin, go back to school. Aye, Kokobatin, you are the healer when because of you ran away from school. You know, I had a very, not steamy, but I had an argument, not an argument, but I was telling somebody to say, ngesikhathi isikolo singihlula, when I've realized that no, school is not for me, when school gets in, I have to go out. When I've realized that practice setal is not my thing, classroom mathematics is not my thing. When I've realized that, I went to work. When I accepted ukuthi, me and school, we are not related, yabo. I liked school, but school didn't like me. My relationship with the school, it was the same relationship that I had with alcohol. We were not getting along with school. And my not getting along with school, at some point, there was alcohol in that. At some point, as young boys, when you grow up and everything, I'm not saying it's a norm, everybody must do it, but we used to do it, which was wrong. But me and school, we were not related. Yeah, but we were not getting along with school. However, me not getting along with school, I didn't jump from that and went and become a healer. It's something that I always knew, but I told myself, I'm going to run away from this one. And when I started working, I did exceptionally well. Exceptionally well. And having said that, and I said to myself, no, man, this is my calling. This is my calling. I found my calling. Yes, people say I have a calling. I found my calling. My calling is to do this. But it didn't work. It didn't last. Having started working in 1999, it didn't last. And then I had to surrender and start this practice, start working, helping people. And ever since I've started, I've never went back. I started many businesses when I grew up. Growing up, being selling peanuts, chocolate, amaqanda, for Babu Mkhize, all of that. I really thought my calling is business as well. The business to me, was one of my callings. I was really convinced that I have a calling in business. But looking at number of failed businesses, because I don't have a calling for business, I can tell what no. But when it comes to healing, there was a time, I can't remember when was it, but it was around 18 months or so. 18 months or so, it was bad. It was bad. It was tough. And half of that 6 months, of 18 months, almost half of that 18 months, the consultation fee was 5 rand. Then the consultation fee went to 20 rand, then went to 50 rand. And from 20 rand to 50 rand, it was my decision because I was hungry. It was my decision. Spiritually, it was not there. And when I've made those changes between 20 rand a consultation to 50 rand a consultation, the work went down even further. It went tough. It was tough. It was tough. There was a time whereby nobody comes. If somebody comes, it's one person. In a month, I will have at least 4 or 1 person a month. It was tough. But trust me, when I say during those time, I was at my peak. I was at my peak. The few that I helped during those times, those minimum people that I helped during those times, I still helping them till today. Those that I'm not helping them, others they've passed on, others they've decided to be Christians or whatever. Not everyone will come back. But the majority of people that I've helped, then they're still happy till today. And we can sit down and they will tell me how I will not have a muti, how they will see one eye dropping tears for me not having that motive. This lady says to me, Coco, I remember you said to me, it's going to cost this much, but unfortunately, you need to pay first because I don't have money. That's what I said. I said to her, I don't have money to organize that motive. And even the money that I've charged you, it's little. I'll still have to get money for transport to get that motive, which means that money was exactly in terms of the costs, excluding transport. And she gave me more. And I went to fetch that in Wanongoma and Emona, and I came with it. I've mixed it. I did everything to it, and I gave her, and it worked. And when I get reminded about that, and it's giving my goosebumps, it gives me joy, gives me fulfillment. And that's why I'm asking myself every day to say, Gogo Batini, do you really have a calling? And I say yes. And this thing, guys, it's not something that I'll say to you today. Be careful. If the healer is like this and like this, be careful. I'll be scamming you by saying that. I'll be scamming you by saying that. All I can say, Oguti, listen to your instincts. Listen to that inner voice. How do you connect with this person? How do you connect with them? How do you relate with these people, this person that is assisting you? Now I do go to a person that is well known, for help, even international. But when I get there, I listen to my inner voice, and if my inner voice tells me, no, this one is not for you, I leave. It doesn't matter how much you can praise this individual to say, he has done this for me, he has what. I leave because I have people that goes with me all the time, all the way where I go. So the question that I'm asking you is not a question that you need to answer to me. It's a question that you need to answer to yourself to say, do you really have a calling? Do you really have a calling? And I'm asking particularly for the calling to assist people, to heal people. Do you really have that calling? Guys, it's painful. I have children, guys. I have siblings, guys. I have my siblings' children are my children. My family members' children are my children, are my cousins. Whatever you may call it, but we are family. I have friends who have kids. Those kids are my kids. It's so painful. It's disgusting. It's killing to see ukuthi, wow, what a waste of money. It's painful. It's painful to see ukuthi, what a waste of money. And that person at that time, that person is taken, is captured. Ukuthi he's a healer. They are captured ukuthi they are healers. Ukuthi, and you will never do anything about it. You'll never do anything about it. Somebody said something very important. We were talking about children in general. And then she said to me, Yes, Batini, there's nothing you can do to a woman who's in love. She becomes blind. I really learned something. I've known her for more than 27 years now. And it was like, that was very profound, to learn. Yeah, that's true. And instantly that says, you will never make sense to somebody who's captured, who have been told, nicely so, that they have a calling. And they've bought that, they have a calling. Then they fell in love with that calling that they do not have. There's nothing you can do about it. They are the ones that have to ask themselves to say, out of all of this, out of everything that is happening, still I ask myself, do I really have a calling? Somebody once asked me, Gogo Bathini Mbatha, would you substitute this calling for anything? If you were given an opportunity to go and work somewhere and do something that would give you a decent salary so that you can afford things. And I was asked by a friend because I was asking for money from him. And I said, no, it will get worse. I said to him, no, my brother, it will get worse because I've tried it. I've tried it. I used to have a computer, a fully computer, because that's what was I could afford. Because when the laptop started to be everywhere, computers became cheaper. So I had my own PC, internet, everything. I will send CVs every morning, during the day, afternoon, wherever I can, inside Indumba. I will send CVs left, right, and center, and that all failed. It failed. I tried. I did try to get a job. I did. I remember doing a CV of being a driver. I had a CV of being everything that I know that I have a skill of. At some stage, I was trying to teach isiZulu to kids that can't speak isiZulu, whether they're white or they're black, foreigners and everything. I did that just a little while. Still, it failed. I did try anything else because Nami at some point I'll say to me, if truly I have a calling, why then do I suffer? Why then do I have so many enemies? Why then my life it's broken? Why then my relationships can't last? Why then I can't keep a relationship? Why then I can't be with my children? Why then? I've asked myself so many questions regarding issue of the calling. And still the answer was yes, you have a calling. Because I remember actually no one said it's going to be easy. No one said it's going to be easy. I remember I went with Mantlapo. We went to do a story at Tembisa. And was this lady in Tembisa whom, we're doing story. But she just picked me and said, you're wasting time. What is she talking about? Me wasting time. Me wasting time. And she laughed, Umantlabo. And I don't know what is what to say. Unfortunately, that woman was actually talking to two people. She's a Sangoma now, from being one of the brilliant journalists. Now she's a Sangoma. Now I'm a heel as well. So, we were at the wrong place And then it happened that we are sent in a township to going to a story to this Sangoma, and then we were told, we're wasting time in journalism. So it's really up to us. It's really up to us to ask ourselves this question, because guys, kubuhlungu guys. You know, if I wanted to make money, I'm talking about myself personally. I'm talking about Gogo Batinimbat. If I wanted to make money, and a quick money, I do have a plan to do that. Quick money. The money that don't have story. The money that will never have any insult following me. I will train people. I will tell people. I will skill myself. I will train myself to tell people how much they have a calling, and I will scare the hell out of them. Lalela, with these big eyes of mine, I will say, hey, when now you need to wear beads. Now I will take a buy now and say, hey, right now, when we are in Sangoma, as we speak, hey, act and do everything. I will practice that very well. And I know if I can practice that very well, I can have a good number of people that I train. I can have a good number and make good money. And make good money. But the pain that I see when I walk on the street, seeing this person doesn't have a feeling. Sorry, this person doesn't have a calling. She doesn't. He doesn't. They don't. If a mother comes here and say, my child is sick, is getting trained somewhere in Swaziland, somewhere in Lesotho, somewhere in Zimbabwe, somewhere wherever in Guyana or whatever, and when I throw the bones, or when I do my magic and I realize, no, man. I said, Mama, no. Your child doesn't have a calling. Your child has a problem with drugs. Your child is suffering from withdrawals. Your child, it's not called for that. Maybe your child has a calling, but not to become a healer. Your child is a musician. I see your child singing. And then this woman stood up, Emakosin, Mbange, stood up when I said that. Mina, I see your child singing, blessing people. And that lady, she's one of the greatest singers that we have in South Africa. And we're getting along very well, because I personally called Ugobert with all the respect, and I said, Makos, with all the respect. And Ugobert said, come see me. And I've asked myself, and I remember going there, I said to myself, I might not come back. Then I went to see him, and we sat down, and I said, I'm not here to judge you and to do anything. And unfortunately, it was the lady who really wanted to do this, because somebody else had lied to her, and that person died. So when things were going bad in her life, from school, and she always wanted to do, she was just to do singing, she was just doing demos and everything. The life was just in Makas. And at home, they were discouraging the issue of there's no career in singing. You cannot say that a career is singing. And then with her qualifications, still things went bad. And she begged this healer to say, I'm definitely sure this is it. So we had a mutual understanding with the healer, because of I went there with respect. And I could tell, I told the mother to say, they promise not a healer here, but we need to find out. So how many can we rescue? 0.1111. Or 0.1 that we can rescue, like that. And the healer was even willing to refund the family. The healer was willing to refund the family because the live cow was there. The monies, the guy used them, obviously. But the family said, no, it's not your fault. You did not say it. She insisted. But how many can we rescue when it comes to that? And unfortunately, that healer also passed on. But before he passed on, we got along very well. We got along very, 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 very well. Especially when it comes to checking this thing, which is this person has a calling for real nyan nyan. This person has a calling. So we need to ask ourselves those questions, guys. Touching the issue of the calling and drugs. Yes, withdrawals symptoms, withdrawal signs. They are more or less like abantu abadala and everything. The vibration of the body, ukuzamula, everything that is happening. The moody part. There's a lot that it's similar to somebody that has a calling, which is something that happens to somebody who has withdrawals. What are the withdrawals? You can search for what is it, the withdrawals. So the withdrawals that you will find out yinama withdrawals, especially drugs withdrawals. Alcohol, not that much, unless somebody was a heavy drinker, then you'll have that. But alcohol, we just call it a hangover, and that's it, and which lasts for a little while. But the withdrawals, somebody will be itchy, will be scratching themselves, they can't sleep, they can't do what, they see things, the mind is like yabalega and everything. But if you can give them that person a fix that they normally take, all of that disappears. So that those are withdrawals. So guys, it's up to us. It's up to us. But today the question was simple. Do you really have a calling? Do you really have a calling? Do you really, 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 really have a calling? Or you do have a calling, but not to heal people. Maybe your calling is to become a singer. Maybe your calling is to become a poet. Maybe your calling is to become somebody who's doing counseling, fixing people's problems by talking to them. Please find out what calling do you have. Investigate your calling. Just go deep into your calling. Investigate it. Don't just take it light. Don't just jump into conclusion to say, well, now you have a calling and this is your calling. It's going to be dangerous for you. Guys, I need prayers. I need prayers. Guys, I bought a watch. I bought a watch, guys. And I need prayers. Guys, I have a problem. A watch stops when I wear it. I have, or let me say, I had, because I've given away many. I had many watches in my life, many, many, many watches in my life. I think it's a gadget that I love, truly love, from very young age, from Mamopanya Panya and everything. But I've realized what no, man. And I remember going to Baragwana taxi rank to fight with this Chinese guy, and his English was terrible, and my English was terrible too. So you can imagine that at some point he was speaking Chinese, I was speaking isiZulu, fighting for a battery to say this battery is not working. But and he was showing me, but I said, oh, it's working, and when I think of that, and I've realized watch does stop when I wear it. And I'm praying for this one. It's still working, up to this far. Still working, yeah, it's still coming okay. But I'm scared it will stop, and I love it. I love it so much. It helps me, especially with my health issues. So please pray for me, guys. I need these prayers. This watch needs to work forever. So I need your prayers, guys. I don't normally ask for things, guys. So for this one, please pray for me for this watch to work forever. Yabo? So that Nami I can be able to do other things, because my health also plays a big role in my calling. Having said that, thank you very much. Koko bathi nombathi mavula kuvala emzini amadoda. U-Auntie Usha, your number one locksmith. Till we meet next time. please share, ask yourself, ask a friend, ask your child. Please share this video. Let's make this video to trend, guys. This is the information that we need to ask ourselves. It is not wise that we can just relax